Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to STEM Girls Online in the second penultimate part of our mini-series, Women at Sea and Issues for Women and Social Change. Our special speaker who's with us today is Tamomi Kawazoe, and I'm going to pass you over to Tamomi, who's going to share some of her own story and some of her own insights in addressing the balance in STEM for women and societal change. Tamomi, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Tamomi Kawazoe from Japan. Now I'm studying in Malta, University of Malta, because of my program, Adult Education for Social Change. So previous semester I studied in University of Glasgow, and now in Malta. The next semester will be in Estonia. I hope I can go Estonia, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I made some materials.
Oh, oh, I recognize those people.
Yes, so this picture was, I think, kind of a career event in city of Glasgow College. So it was very fun. Yes. And this is my history of education and job. So my starting point of STEM is high school. I went to technical high school, five years technical high school. So I studied industrial chemistry, and actually I much eager to do was robot making. So I joined the robot club and made robots. And then I went to university 2 years because already finished 2 years. So extend 2 years for my bachelor of engineering, then master of engineering, because Japanese companies usually offer engineering job for master students, not for bachelors. So I went to master of engineering for my first master. And I worked as an engineer in Bridgestone company, the world's largest tire company in Japan. Then I went to Tanzania, and now I study again in my second master, kind of education field, so very change. So this black field is STEM field, and now I changed my field, but it's connect completely. So I think it is very interesting for me, both STEM field and education. So I will introduce more detail one by one. So 1997 is almost 20 years ago. So I'm now 38, so that's why. So this is a first surprise in my school experience, because my technical high school was not so enough money. So we have to prepare some kind of strange, not the expert things, but we have to prepare to experiment. So the important skill is not the experiment skill, but the preparation skills. So this is my first experience. And for robot, excuse me. It was a kind of a teamwork, team building job. So we sometimes over 10 people, but sometimes 5 or 6 people to get join and make one robot. So I learned teamwork and connection. So actually I couldn't design the robot or make circuit or program, but I just made to and fix the robot and communicate students and teachers. Then I proceeded to Bachelor of Engineering. Actually, my first degree was chemistry, so I studied material science, polymer materials. So, but there are many classes. So, and actually, this is a professor of my university. So I asked him I want to join robot class. So he said, okay, it is allowed to join mechanical class. Even my major was chemistry. It was very open class. So I joined the robot class, and actually I was very lucky, and this robot was not so good, but it seems very interesting for others. So I gained a chance to go MIT for summer program. It was international design contest in MIT. So this was my first experience in foreign university. So we are 5. So this is me, and this is from the US. I think he's from Germany and the UK, and other members come to get together and discuss one robot. But actually, it was much important idea than language. Of course, language is important, but even now my English is sometimes a little bit confusing, but I can communicate. But the idea and maybe confident to communicate is much important than language. I studied from this experience. Then I proceed my master, material science as well, and this was the graduation ceremony day. So actually, I wanted to continue robot, but I was good at chemistry, so I studied more material science. And actually, this was 15 years ago, but the professor remembered me. And when I apply course now, my second master, he write the recommendation letter. Even I graduated 15 years ago. So I was very lucky, and I appreciate him very much.
What a dress.
Oh, excuse me. And after that, I entered Bridgestone company. The first career was mass production designer for the world's largest tire. This tire was 4-meter height. So this is me. So this is 4 meter and 5.7 ton. So it was very large and very interesting experience. And but actually, this photo is only one experience for the site of the mine. So many designers can go sites to design or to improve the quality of tires. But for me, I went more factories compared with the site, because my job was to improve the quality of the product, but the raw materials. But I wanted to know how, the real site. So I appeared, I want to go the mine. But the problem was I was the first woman in that sector. So they didn't have any experience to enter the mine because mine is mainly man-dominant place as well as marine. So, but finally I could go. Actually, it was only 3-day trip. This I went to it was Japan to the US, but only 3-day trip. So it was very hard but interesting. And actually, I studied chemistry, but the tire design, I expect more automation, but actually it was manual. I wrote a lot of drawing by my hand. So handwriting is very important skill I learned. And then I moved to factory. I was I worked as a factory engineer for 2 years. And actually, the most important skill was physical fitness here because the factory was quite a large and I have to walk around every day. So every day over 20,000 steps per day. So it get fit. Then I wanted to go abroad, but there were not opportunity inside the company, but the company provide me the new regulation to volunteer living. So they allow me 2 years volunteer living. So that's why I went to Tanzania for Kaizen trainer for volunteer. The request of them was Kaizen knowledge in factory. But actually, when I went there, I completely didn't go any factories. I always went to the office and communicate with people who want to start their own business. For example, they want to start their own business, maybe bakery or patissier or some small shops. So I wanted to improve our course, so I taught them how to make Japanese style bread. So this is a bread inside the red beans. So very famous in Japan. So actually, I'm not good at cooking, but I have some skill to tell. So I try to explain them because it was very new for them. Usually, their bread is kind of I'm not sure what to say, but this is a new style for them. So it was interesting experience for me and others. And after that, I go back to Japan and start working as a process engineer again. But actually, I got bored and tired about the job. Seems not the technical skill, but only the coordination skills. So I think it is very important skill for coordination, but actually I don't want to continue here. So that's why I quit Bridgestone and change my field. This is a University of Glasgow picture. And now I'm studying adult education for social change. But my interest is more career development. So I'm now discussing my professor. My thesis topic will be career development for STEM women in Japan. So I would like to compare Japan and other countries, but the thesis topic should be more narrow. So I will be focused on Japan, but still STEM field is my interest.
Lovely.
So this is Malta. Actually now Malta is kind of a soft lockdown, but now much better and better. Sorry for UK, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But for over 2 months, we have only online class, so I completely inside the house. But anyway, Malta is very nice place. And this is the summary of my presentation. So I think STEM knowledge and skill is very important, but as well as soft skills like communication or coordination or many things, not a hard skill. And also every experience is very useful because I showed you the first kind of poor experiment picture for chemistry, but this kind of not even if we have not enough tools, we can do we can learn and do many things. And also my experience looks like very choppy, but actually it's completely connected. And I appreciate every experience, even something like coronavirus looks like very worse my studying experience, but maybe near future or longer future, it will be a good experience and for me. I believe that, so that's why I want to continue my study and try to write good important thesis in my second master in education.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tamomi, for that very interesting walk through your career. It's fantastic. And what a picture of Malta in the background. I was trying to work out where that was. So you're now in Malta. You're certainly a woman who gets around. You've been in Japan, you've been in Tanzania, you've been in UK at least, and now in Malta, and possibly into Estonia. So what an interesting snapshot of women's experience and women's experience in STEM. Fantastic. I'm now going to thank you very much for offering that picture, and I'm now going to open up the floor for if there are any questions or observations. I'll kick off very quickly. I noticed one thing that jumped out at me, Tamomi, on the pictures. There's not an awful lot of female faces. I didn't see a lot of women's faces in your experiences with your company. And this one here, you're the only woman. No one remembered you.
This was my lab. There were no other girls. And yes, the Bridgestone. Excuse me. Yes, this was my department, but the engineer was only myself, over 30 people, but for there are very few women in my company. Yes.
Chloe, have you got anything that you'd like to ask Tamomi?
Yes.
How did it feel like being the like only girl like, in the kind of situation? Was it like frightening or?
Excuse me. Can you say again?
How did it feel being the only girl in like the classroom?
How did,
Sorry,
how did you
couldn't
find
catch.
it being in the minority? Being in the minority, was that difficult, Tamomi?
Yes, but it's pros and cons because I always felt a minority, so it was quite hard to start. But I was always pioneer, so when I want to try, people support, especially some people want to help for women, they help. So, but simultaneously, the pioneer is quite risky because I will be a role model. So I think it is no problem, but some other women think no. So I have to think about, is this only for me or for others? So this is a difficult point of the minority.
Oksana, what do you think Tamomi's story, what do you think that means for your organisation, for the Federation of World Peace for Women? How does this sit with your aims?
Yeah, I have actually a question. What makes you change from like engineering and working with materials to education field? Why you have this change?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yes, so this is very difficult to explain, but I was interested in making something, but now I'm interested in how people work, or people who work in factory, or the people who make something, because in Japan, the most successful story is graduate good university and enter a good company and work one company completely their career over 30 years or almost 40 years. This is the best way. But I went to Tanzania. They have a completely different philosophy of the careers. So, for example, my coworkers, all coworkers graduate universities, but they continue study in masters. So evening class, or sometimes they quit their job and study again and get another job. So it was very different way. So I want to know how people make good career, and I think all experience is learning, not only formal learning, but formal learning, informal learning, non-formal learning should be mixed, but the Japanese situation is different. So I want to explain why and what will be good to make people's life much better. So that's why I changed my field to education. Actually, this field is not in education, but human resource is the best option. But the adult education is including career development. And I was interested in higher education and other learning by adults. So, and another thing was this program was including moving and studying. So I think it is very interesting program. So I joined adult education program now.
Thank you very much, Tamomi. I'm conscious of our time. This is our lightning meeting, which is supposed to conclude within 30 minutes.
Oh.
So that it's punchy. That's been fantastic, fantastically interesting. I'd be very grateful if you were able to share your slides with us later on. And
Yes.
Thank you very much for sharing your story. It's food for thought. We're concluding a mini series within STEM Girls Online about women's conditions at sea. And we are tentatively putting together our own Charter for Change, which we would like to be aligned to the Women in Maritime Charter for Change, focusing in on one particular sector, which is conditions for women at sea. But again, I think there's a danger we can become very narrow. I think it's great for us to have heard your story today, to hear about other sectors within engineering and about these shared experiences, and together to identify the best practices and the best scenario for us to have a harmonious and successful future career. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining our call today. We hope to see you for the last of our series next Thursday, same time. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.